Welcome to Thrive. You are alive. Debbie Thompson, my longtime friend.
Thank you.
Theater person extraordinaire. So, Deb, the other day I was reading a book called The Alchemist. And I thought of you because as I was reading about it, it mentions personal legends. And I thought, well, what does that really mean, a personal legend? And the way the book defines it is it's what you've always wanted to accomplish. Supposedly, everyone, when they're young, knows what the personal legend is. So I thought of you because I thought if anybody has carried their personal legend through all the time that I've known them, it's you. So what about your personal legend? When you were really little, did you have one?
You know, I was thinking the other day, not about New York and not about Broadway, but for 30 seconds I was thinking about what would it be like to work on stage again.
Oh, we never stop.
And that was just for 30 seconds. And then I thought, you have to look great. You have to vocally sound great. And you have to be in great physical and emotional shape.
Well said.
It's a tremendous amount of work to be a performer and to be the kind of actor that I would still want to be.
So when you went on auditions, did you always have to wear makeup?
Oh, yeah. Makeup, an outfit that I felt made me attractive.
Fair enough.
Um,
Fair enough at the New York level.
Right.
We're talking
Well,
at the Broadway level,
the
right?
Broadway level, because you needed
When you're
to,
auditioning?
well, you needed to stand out. And it's interesting because I was originally a brunette. And when I was living in New York, I, for fun, dyed my hair red because there weren't many redheads in the
Did you?
lineup.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, there weren't many redheads. I've never gone back.
How to stand out in a crowd.
Yeah, but there weren't many redheads in the lineup because they would literally line you up across the stage and do typecasting, and yeah, it was. You just had to have the right emotional mindset to deal with
Metal.
that you were going to be typed out, and you weren't even going to get a chance to sing.
Oof. And how many bars would you get to do?
Maybe 18 bars.
And how long, just for the audience's sake, how long does that take?
30 seconds. But
so how much time did you spend preparing relative to how much time you got to audition?
Months working with a voice teacher once a week and a vocal coach once a week who actually would find the best 30 bars for your vocal range and your personality.
And then if you were you always going to do a bit of a dance there as well? A dance audition?
Maybe.
Okay.
For a singer, they would say singers who move well.
Okay.
And that would be the audition that I would go to because they knew that the singers weren't trained dancers. But some of them were.
And what did you dress in for the audition? If you had to dance?
What did I sing?
No, what did you have to wear?
What did I have to? You had maybe a nice skirt and top and showed your legs, but underneath it you had to always be ready with dance clothes.
So that's why you're saying you had to be in great physical shape.
You had to be in great because you took off the skirt and top and went into a dance audition, and you had to make sure you had your dance, your capizios, your dance shoes, and you had to be ready for to asked to dance. Yeah.
So that's why at that level of difficulty and that level of challenge to put all that together, that's why it's not so essential for you to want to do it now.
Oh, not at all.
Right. So I have another question for you.
Okay.
Apart from all the preparation, Do you now have the energy for that?
No. I have a lot of energy. I just don't know how much I want it.
Great question. Great question.
You know, it's in the back of my mind once in a while, and up until my middle 30s, it was always in the front of my mind.
For sure, one of the biggest dreams of your life, right?
You know, because even though people, young people today think 30s might be old, 30s is not old, and and it was a really good time of my life in my 30s as well. But I think you really, to be successful, you really have to want it more than anything.
Yes, because it's so much work. So let me take you now, when you think of yourself back in your 20s and 30s, when your dreams are still ahead of you, was there something else that you also wished for?
Pre-marriage, I was pretty young. I wanted to be a musical theater performer, always, and it never wavered.
So did you want to be on Broadway?
Of course.
When did that when did that dream begin?
Well, probably around 12 years old.
As a singing, dancing star? You wanted
musical
that?
theater performer.
Mm-hmm.
So my first Broadway show, my grandparents took me to New York when I was 8 years old, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And that was 61 years ago, and it hasn't left my body. And it was always the goal where my career would go, but it did take another route. And it's funny, the other day I was talking to two of the young people who are actors in the show I'm directing. They're 19 and they both go to AMDA in New York. And I said to them, I lived in New York for 8 years, and they were intrigued.
Oh, so they're surprised.
Yeah, they
really
were surprised.
surprised.
Yeah, and I said, I wanted to go to AMDA, and my mom wouldn't let me, because in those days, how many years ago, she thought it was unsafe for an 18-year-old girl to be in New York by herself.
Different times. So when did you finally land there? How old were you?
I think I was 25. 23 when I got married, so I was very fortunate, and my husband, John, went with me. He had a stable job as an engineer, so he paid the bills, but I worked part-time and paid for all my classes.
So you could pursue your dream.
So I could pursue my dream, yes. That's probably why we stayed together as boyfriend and girlfriend when we met in college. I was doing this play my junior year, Our Wilderness, and I was playing the dance hall girl. And he thought it was so cool that I was in a play. So I started to really get to know who he was. And besides being really cute, nice blonde hair and blue eyes, he really cared about what I did. And we just became really good friends.
What a great way to start a relationship. So now bring us forward, because I know John works with you in what you refer to as the set doctors. So you're a director. You have a community theater group called Everybody's Theater Company. And alongside you work the set doctors. So who are the set doctors? Well, what are the set doctors?
Okay, well, the set doctors originally were the dads of students who were involved in the theater plays, primarily the school musical, the all-school musical.
Okay.
And we would just ask for volunteer parents to come and help on Saturdays to build the sets.
So even more people got involved with your shows.
Right.
Terrific.
So this group of dads were very loyal, working with John, my husband, and my very close friend Greg Razor, who did a lot of my technical directing and production management and designing sets, etc. And because these guys got along so great, they kept coming even after their children graduated from Upper Dublin High
that's so
School.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
it was
so cool.
It was so cool. And we did have moms. I don't want to not include moms. Moms would come and help with the painting. We had some really great artists who shared their talents with us. Moms would help with Ann Frederick, who was our costume coordinator and designer for many years, would come and help her as well.
That's the thing. I'm always so impressed with theater because it involves so many people in so many different capacities. So there's a place for everybody. I love that about theater, and
Yeah.
you have made that happen for so many people. But back to John for a second.
Okay.
So, how many years has he supported your your original dream of the theater as a set doctor?
I started in, I'm trying to think, 1990 at Sandy Run Middle School, and he was right by my side and stayed with me. So 1990 all the way through to when I retired from Upper Dublin in 2014, and still helping with Everybody's Theater Company.
So you're really talking about 20 years.
20-something years, yeah. Yeah.
And then when you finally retired, how do you feel about it?
Oh, he was happy I retired.
Okay.
He was tired. That's the truth of it. Yeah, he was tired, and he was concerned about me too, because being the drama teacher / director is a burnout.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a
Well,
burnout.
It's just a tremendous amount of work
Yeah.
with hundreds of people
Yeah.
involved. And I'm just curious, when he was the set doctor, I know you had said at one point that he was so happy when it was over, right? But when he
right.
was there, how did he feel?
He got to work with the kids, and he loved doing that. He also had a great time once he got to the school and worked sometimes one-on-one with a student, teaching them how to use the tools.
And that's the magic
create.
of it, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like work till you're interacting with all the people
so true.
who love being involved in one capacity or another with theater.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how did they feel about him?
They really loved him. Even when he was hard on them, he didn't put up with doing things half-assed or walking away from a job or not helping to clean up. He called them on all of it. He was very disciplined from that end, whereas I was disciplined from the other end.
Well, how great in every way both of you are essentially being great parents and growing these kids up to realize it isn't just about the performance, it's the whole process of theater, that they need to step up and grow, right?
Oh, absolutely. And to this day, there are former students who have thanked me for that.
Oh, bravo. I mean, that's what I'm just so impressed with the two of you. I think you're quite the team.
Yeah, I think we're really a good team, and we're still really a good team.
So once you retired from the school district, you then moved on. You reinvented yet again, right? You reinvented yet again to start the community theater, right? And you've created Everybody's Theater Company. And I know that you mentioned Dave Toll a lot relative to that. Who is Dave Toll?
He is my co-producer and technical director, my partner
Nice.
in founding Everybody's Theater Company.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, and I had all 4 of his children as students in
Amazing.
class.
Amazing.
In class.
I had several too.
That's right, in class as well as in the after-school programs. And he was the sound designer, and he came in and helped build sets as well with the high school program.
It's all about collaboration.
It's all about
beginning, middle, and
collaboration.
end, right?
Yeah.
Now, What about John recently? I mean, I saw him with the summer production that you just got done.
He works full time, and he's gotten older, and he does whatever David asks him to do. He will absolutely
He steps up.
step up, and he's still very.
So that's a lot on top of a full-time job. How old is John?
He'll be 70 in a few weeks. I know. We're getting there.
And he works a very physical part of theater relative to the set doctorate.
Yes, yes. Constructing the set, putting up the set with Dave Toll, and taking down the set the night of strike. It's incredibly strenuous.
So that even though he looks like he's in pretty good shape, he's tired.
Yes, he's tired.
And I mean, he's almost 70, which isn't 60, right? As we've
Right.
learned, which
Right.
isn't 50,
Right.
as we've also learned.
Yes.
And you and I, we've talked about that before, right? About
Right.
ageism.
Right. About being a female
Uh-huh.
and being close to 70 years old. It's a hard thing to think about, that we're in our 70th year of life.
Well, I'm 69 first.
That's right. That's right. You're younger than me.
Mind you, I'm looking at you intently to be sure I'm correct in that. You're giving me pause. Am
That's
I
right.
70 or...
I totally went ahead. Right. We're the same age, but you're 69 in September.
No rush. Let's breathe. So you and I talked, and we decided to make our 69th year really meaningful.
Yeah, I think we should.
So here's a question going back to life dreams.
Yeah.
Considering that early destiny that you had thought about, is there anything in that destiny, either because of marriage or children or jobs, you know how life gets in the way, that got displaced? In other words, was there any disappointment, something that you didn't get done that you had hoped to get done originally or that you dreamed of?
No.
Wow. 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 I mean, congratulations to you, girlfriend. That's a huge achievement.
Because of finding my way in teaching, because I could share all those years truly with a handful of students, not all of them, but the students who really get you,
Right.
the students who you have a rapport with, respect with, they understand you as well as you understand them. And
Yeah.
it's a give and take.
Yeah.
They totally gave me fulfillment. I didn't have to continue to work on the stage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because they were.
Yeah, I could share my love and with them and guide them.
So you gave your passion, you instilled your passion into them. And your joy, right, was sufficient, if I'm hearing you right.
Right.
So your pleasure in giving it and passing it forward was sufficient, so that whether you ever got on stage again doesn't matter, because you pursued it for yourself first, right? You had a ball.
Yeah, I did, and I actually made some of my closest friends when John and I lived in New York. And I know you can relate to that.
Sure, absolutely. We were young. It was fun. It was incredibly hard. More challenging, perhaps, than anything else other than teaching in our
Yeah.
whole life. But it was great. And then you got to pass it forward in the teaching. And now there's a million Debbies out there going for it.
I don't know about that. There might be a few, maybe 10.
You know, isn't it true with those students you share the deepest soul love?
Yeah, they trusted me. And I continued to actually grow with them. And I know you understand that.
Completely. You know, we're growing.
Yeah.
And always seeking to grow. Still, we're seeking to grow.
Absolutely.
In our almost 70th year.
Right. No, and that is so true. So true.
And that reciprocity, right?
Well, they were continuing to teach me because of their talents, the gifts that they had. They shared with me every day. And that definitely helped me become a better person and a better teacher.
Well, and with Thrive You Are Alive, that's one of the things we most want to share out there with everybody is that each one of us is different. Each one of us is a different gift. And I know some of you folks out there think you don't have gifts, and I'm here to say, oh, yes, you do. You know, because for every theater performer, there's got to be an audience member who is delighting in watching that show. And one doesn't function with the other. So you don't have to be a showgirl. You just have to think about what is it you want to give back to the world, because at this point in our lives, I think you and I, it's just part of our nature. We want to give back. It's one of the things that we've been able to do earlier in life, but we don't want to stop now because, first of all, we're older and wiser. So we may not be right about a whole lot of things, but we certainly have some wisdom just from having lived 69 years, and we want to pass that forward to whoever wants to hear it. May not be for everybody, that's okay. Theater wasn't for everybody either, you know, but the ones who can hear, you know, let's see what gifts we each have. And that was part of The Alchemist too, was the whole notion of what do you have to give to the world? And it's a world that's really hurting, Deb. And each one of us needs to, or I would encourage everybody to step forward and give whatever you have. And so we're just trying to give people visions for things they could do out there, you know? And it gives me chills because you have been able to inspire look at the Broadway people you have in your coterie of people who understood you and you understood them. So what were a few of their names?
Well, for the Broadway people, we have Rachel, Lindsay, John, and Ryan, and there are a few other Upper Dublin students that I didn't have that have done successfully well in New York and with their careers. There's also students who have directed films, written and directed films, who are casting directors, who are tech stage managers, well-rounded theater people.
And look at the door that you opened for both me and Dan. So at one point, I'm teaching all the creative writing, and Dan is directing. And there's this special needs person, Dina, who lives in my area, who wants to write a novel. I start to meet with Dina.
That's right.
They produce a film, and it goes all the way to Sundance, and it wins an award.
Which is absolutely amazing.
And all of that is because we wanted to give people their voices. That was very important to me. And, just the doors that keep opening if we connect with each other and just share gifts. So back to you for a second. You said your students help make you who you are.
Oh, definitely. At this point in my life, I think they molded me to be a better person. That's why it was so challenging and so difficult for me the first 2 years of retirement.
Oh.
The void was huge.
The void, remember you and I, the void was so great.
Yeah.
We went from multitasking to the max every single day and all weekend and all night long.
Absolutely.
To working with hundreds of people a day. You with the grocery store, seeing them even in your community.
Right.
To silence. And an inability then to share your gifts. But happily, for you reinvented, save your sanity, and
Find purpose.
find purpose. And so you do several things, but you certainly land squarely and successfully for 7 years by creating this Everybody's Theater company.
Right. It was 2 weeks after I retired. I called David Toll and I said, "So would you like to start a theater?" And that's how it happened.
That took a long time.
2 weeks.
That took a long time.
Because it was I thought, what am I going to do with my life now?
Well, and it was so dreadful to become invisible.
I didn't think about being invisible yet.
Okay.
What I thought about is not doing theater.
Okay.
And that made me really upset. Because I had been doing it since 1990, moving to Upper Dublin. I did it every single year, 4 to 6 shows, because I did summer programs as well. And I thought, why not do a community theater company that includes ages, 9 years old through 80, and that's how we ended up calling it Everybody's Theater Company. And we have followed through the last 7 years with that concept.
And even this summer, through the crazy pandemic where you
Crazy.
couldn't have access to buildings, where did you wind up performing?
We ended up doing a live production of Children of Eden, a show written by Stephen Schwartz.
How many people were in the cast?
There were 27 actors ages 11 through, I'd say, in the early 60s, and eight production staff involved. And we brought in other people who worked backstage and who ran microphone, sound, the sound system. So there were probably about 35 people involved overall.
And I know it ran for 4 performances. How many people attended?
We ended up we got rained out the first opening night. So we ended up doing 3 shows, and we brought in 350 people, around that, 300 people outside. By the way, that's important to mention, that we were outside on the front lawn of the new Upper Dublin Public Library.
In the heat.
And in our set, which was excellent, that David designed, John constructed with him, I even helped paint, went up in a parking lot, and it worked.
Yeah.
But it was incredibly challenging for all of us because we are a little older. And
Right.
It's a lot of physical work.
Right. So the beautiful thing is you're now going into your 8th year, which hopefully the pandemic won't close down the buildings, so it'll be a little cooler as you go into your 8th year. And as you said, the pandemic has affected everybody's life,
Right.
but you and I know how grateful we are to be alive.
Right.
Everybody needs to think twice about everything. Is it hard? Yes. Are we all struggling? Unquestionably. Are the young struggling? Those who are just in their 20s to 30s, their lives are getting started. They've got college debt. People are trying to keep businesses open. It's a hard time for the young and the old alike, but we mustn't lose touch with how grateful we are for everything that we have, for our lives. And I am so grateful to you for continuously re-inspiring hundreds of people. 400 people just this summer alone. Kudos to you.
And thank you, because I don't take the time to, I don't even think about that.
I know you don't. You never do.
Because
You never sit there and pat yourself in the back. You're already onto the next show, planning when you're done the last show.
Usually, but I also think about how lucky I am that I'm still doing what I love.
Right.
And that's always in the
Right.
forefront of my mind.
Right.
That I get to still do this.
Right. And if I could just share with you just a fun little ending to the story here because, you've shared so much about propelling your students forward and how they've given you back the love. So, my creative writing students, some of those came back, they're 23, 24, and we were writing during COVID on Zoom. And I was so honored that they, as young adults, wanted to come back and work with me. How fun if anybody shows up. Great. And I love them. First of all, they're, I love them like they're my children. But so one of the girls blew all of our minds because she was one of the few people who could be really productive during COVID. So Lauren not only wrote a script during COVID, she applied to grad schools, got in, except to a few major ones, and is now currently out at an internship in California. So hello. Some of us are able to get a few things done. But relative to the script, because you'll appreciate what I'm saying here as the theater person, she had written a female comedian into the script. Mm-hmm. And I said, Lauren, just some feedback for you here. She either has to be, first of all, that's really timely. But second of all, she either has to be a really talented comedian or a really bad comedian. There is no lukewarm that's going to play here. So what does Lauren do? She goes out to California and she just texted me the other night and sent me the clips. She finds a famous club in California and she does a stand-up act herself.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
And thanks me for, encouraging her. And you're like, could you even imagine how encouraged I am? You're just like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I will be a better person today. Let me see who else we can touch. And you know how important it is for us to be together. We just all really need each other.
And I'm just going to say, once you've experienced being a student's mentor,
right,
friend, and teacher, there's nothing like it.
Right, and then they go on to mentor you.
Yeah, and then
Hurrah.
and you've had that, and having that opportunity with Lauren is wonderful for the two of you.
Oh, it's I have no words for what it makes me feel when I say it gives me chills. It fills me full to brimming. Yeah, I don't even know what the feeling is.
So
just
kudos
full to brimming
to you.
So, Deb, thanks so much for being Thrive You Are on Thrive You Are Alive today, because I think you've given other people a vision for what's possible. One vision of one thing you could do or 100 things you could do, because you just got done saying to me, you need a lot of help going forward in theater. So whether it's backstage, on stage, audience member, one whole way to reinvent yourself. If you're girls like us who are going to be 70, go help. We need you, and you don't want to sit home alone.
Perfect.
Lots of love to you, girlfriend.
You
Bye.
too.